Tesla's Model Y was the #1 selling SUV or crossover vehicle in China for the first quarter of 2022. This is insane. How can a car that costs $60,000 be the #1 selling crossover in China? Well, I personally didn't think this would happen, but Elon Musk actually predicted it would last year. And as usual, he was right. I was wrong. I admit it. Hello my friends, welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans and I'm coming to you here from Melbourne, Australia. Just want to say a big thank you to those of you who have jumped on my boys' YouTube channel, Jack and Cal BMX. They're two little BMXers, they're 5 and 8 years old. They love training BMX. They train usually about 3 days a week and race 1 day a week. So we're at the track about 4 days a week. I spend probably half my life at a BMX track. It's great fun, but I'll put a link in the description below to their channel. If you can jump on there and subscribe for me, that would be unreal. The boys would absolutely love it. You don't have to watch their videos, but obviously those subscription numbers will help them to be able to monetize their channel, get a little bit of pocket money from those people who do watch the channel. So Tesla's Model Y became the top selling SUV or crossover vehicle. I don't think it's an SUV, really, is it? In China in both March and Q1 of 2022, which is honest. I still can't believe this happened. It's crazy. This demonstrates how popular the Tesla Model Y is in China and how the entire automotive landscape is absolutely changing in a way that no one predicted. If you'd said in China, say a year ago, it'll cost more to buy a secondhand Tesla than to buy a new one, people would have laughed at you. They really would have said, yeah, no, you have no idea what the Chinese market is. People don't want secondhand products. They don't. It's a fact. If you combine that with the reality that Tesla's factory was closed for about a week in total over the course of 2 different occasions in March, that's what makes this even more insane. How did Tesla manage to pull these sales numbers off when their factory was shut down for a week? Now you might be thinking, oh, that's not relevant, but it is relevant because a lot of their competitors don't have a factory in Shanghai. They have factories in other places which weren't shut down. That means that their competitors, not all of them, but most of them, would have had the ability to continue running production as per normal. Now, to put this in context, the previous #1 selling SUV crossover vehicle in China was Great Wall Motors' Haval H6, and it held the top spot for a long time. However, the average sale price for the Haval H6 is closer to $30,000. In fact, I think it's just a bit under $30,000, whereas the average sale price for the Tesla Model Y is closer to $60,000. Tesla Model Y sales in China in March were 39,730. That's an increase of 291% from the 10,000 units a year ago and 113.7% from the 18,593 units that they sold or delivered in February. I think they sold a fair few more than that, according to data released today by the China Passenger Car Association. So what's happening in China is that their lead times or their wait times for the Tesla Model Y and the Model 3 have increased consistently over the last couple of months, similar to what's happened in Australia here. We only get the Model 3, but our wait times are blown out to 9 months. Wait times are blowing out in the US. Wait times are blowing out in Europe. People have been saying now for a long, long time that Tesla vehicles have saturated the market. Their demand would decrease. The exact opposite is happening. Why is that? Well, the reality is that even though a lot of these legacy auto manufacturers, legacy auto, by the way, is Toyota, Ford, General Motors, Volkswagen, etc. A lot of these manufacturers, they talk about electric cars and they produce a few of them, but that's not enough for the market. I mean, look at the US right now. There's nearly 2 million pre-orders. In fact, I believe it might be over 2 million pre-orders now for EVs in the US alone. In other words, there is an insane amount of demand for EVs. And the only car manufacturer in the West producing them en masse is Tesla. Obviously, in China, you've got BYD and other car companies that are massively ramping up their production numbers every single month. But in the West, it's still happening pretty slowly. Now, interestingly, the second top selling vehicle in China was a plug-in hybrid from BYD, the BYD Song. In third place was the Chang'an CS75. In fourth was the Haval H6. So Haval's dropped all the way to 4th place. I mean, it's probably telling that it's not an electric car. It's not a plug-in hybrid. There you go. Sales started to drop off massively. In 5th is the Chang'an CS55. In 6th is the Honda HR-V. By the way, the Honda HR-V used to be up in the top 3. It's now dropped off. Then you got the Toyota Wildlander, then the Chang'an Wushang X5, then Mercedes-Benz GLC, followed by the Nissan Qashqai, the Geely Qingyu L, Li Auto Li 1, which is a plug-in hybrid, and the Honda Vezel. So one very interesting trend which is going on here, and if you don't really have a close look at this, you probably miss it. Tesla in first place, right, with the Model Y for the Q1. Second place is BYD. Third is Haval. Fourth is Chang'an. And you have to go all the way back to fifth place to find a legacy auto manufacturer with Honda. That is an enormous change in the Chinese car market that no one in the West is talking about. The top 4 places for the most popular type of body shape of vehicle in the world are no longer legacy auto manufacturers. They used to be. They're not anymore. The top 4 are all Tesla and Chinese car manufacturers. And this is essentially showing you what I've been talking about now for nearly a year. The guard is changing. The world is changing. This scenario here will simply play out on a greater scale over the next decade. Now, if you actually look at this in a different way, you start to realize that the Tesla Model Y's dominance is far greater than it initially appears. For example, if you look at the premium crossover segment, the Model Y's 40,000 sales in March were 3 times, in fact, 3.1 times that of the next best placed vehicle, the Mercedes GLC, with 12,748 deliveries. Then after that, you've got the BMW X3 with 11,231 deliveries and the Audi Q5 with 10,703. Now, the question that I have here is, if Tesla was not supply constrained, if Tesla could just say to the Chinese market, you know what, we'll give you all the Model Ys you want, how many could they have sold in March? Would it be 50,000, 60,000, 70, even 80,000? Let's just say that they could have delivered 60,000, right? Let's just be very conservative and say they would have had the capacity to increase their sales numbers from 40,000 to 60,000 simply by delivering on all the back orders, or at least some of the back orders that they have right now. That would then mean they outsold the Mercedes-Benz GLC by a factor of 6 to 1. And that's the second most popular premium crossover vehicle in China, regardless of fuel type, regardless of the way it's powered. Clearly, right, you can see nobody in China really wants internal combustion engine vehicles. And those who do are a declining percentage, a rapidly declining percentage, much in the way that people started to go, you know what? Whoa, smartphones are much better than these old crappy these old crappy phones with buttons all over them, like the old BlackBerry phones. Remember, everyone used to say, look at my BlackBerry, how cool is this? Look, it's got 77 buttons on it. It's amazing. Look, you can, if you touch this tiny button here and you touch that tiny button there and you touch this tiny button there, then eventually you can turn it on. Yeah, well, it's the same with EVs. So what about the Model 3? Well, in China's sedan market, the Model 3 also performed very strongly. Model 3 retail sales in China were 26,000, second only to SAIC GM Wuling's Hongwan Mini EV at 42,000 and the Nissan Sylphy at 30,240. Now, to be fair, I don't know why they would call the Hongwan Mini EV in any way similar to the Tesla Model Y. So I think it's in any way similar to the Tesla Model 3. So I think it's fair to say that the Model 3 also won its category as well. Now, one interesting trend is Tesla is starting to export less vehicles. Of course, in the first 2 months of the year, they exported most of what they made, but they exported only 60 vehicles in the third month of the year in March. Is this because they have less demand in Europe? Tesla have less demand in Europe? No, I don't think so. Is it because they have less demand in Australia? No, we have 9-month wait lists now that used to be only 1 month. 1 month to 9 months. That's just for the Tesla Model 3. The reality right now is, well, Ron Barron was right. He bought Tesla stock early. He's saying he's going to hold it for another 8 years. And if you own Tesla stock, I recommend you do the same. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.